Shakhtar are asking for an excess of 80 to 90 million euros because they said if Anthony can move from Ajax to Man U for similar price, they believe Modric is a better player with a better ceiling and is showing in terms of a better signals and symptoms of a potentially world-class footballer, which you can argue with. So it's looking peak. It's looking very peak. Will Modric end up at Arsenal? I don't know. If I know, I'll make an emphatic call on that. I'm sure most of you don't know. You can only do or go with the news that has been pushed. According to the Mirror, they had an article out yesterday suggesting there's a framework in place for the move to Arsenal by Modric from Shakhtar to be easier and there'll be a reduction in price, which for me, I do not share the same optimism. I could be wrong, but the Mirror have gotten a few news correctly. But then come out with this news, and I went to read the article for myself to actually see where I can find a bit of credibility or where I can find a bit of substance to the news. So Arsenal is still gathering momentum. The player is keen to leave Shakhtar Donetsk. Is keen. His first choice is Arsenal. His agent is keen to push through for a move. The problem is Shakhtar demanding in excess of 80 to 90 million euros for this player. We know most clubs are unwilling to match this asking price. We know Arsenal actually tried in the summer, but Shakhtar, they are notorious for their tough negotiating skills. Their board are very tough to negotiate with, and they rebuffed that bid. Everton tried, they rebuffed that bid. And it's been touted that this winter, the player is keen to try himself in the elite leagues, like especially the English Premiership is top and I would say is his preference for now. So we know that Arsenal want this player. We know the player wants to come to Arsenal. We know the agent is pushing for a move, and we know Shakhtar are asking for an excess of 80 to 90 million euros because they said if Anthony can move from Ajax to Man U for similar price, they believe Modric is a better player with a better ceiling and is showing in terms of a better signals and symptoms of a potentially world-class footballer, which you can argue with. So it's looking peak. It's looking very peak. Will Modric end up at Arsenal? I don't know. If I know, I'll make an emphatic call on that. I'm sure most of you don't know. You can only do or go with the news that has been pushed. According to the Mirror, they had an article out yesterday suggesting there's a framework in place for the move to Arsenal by Modric from Shakhtar to be easier and there'll be a reduction in price, which for me, I do not share the same optimism. I could be wrong, but the Mirror have gotten a few news correctly. But then coming out with this news, and I went to read the article for myself to actually see where I can find a bit of credibility or where I can find a bit of substance to the news. So let me read some part of it. Mykhaylo Mudryk has drawn attention of the clubs across Europe, and Newcastle are also chasing the 21-year-old Shakhtar Donetsk winger. But insiders say the Gunners have the framework of a deal in place after Shakhtar significantly lowered their original demands, which were said to be close to 90 million euros. It is now understood that they are willing to accept around 40 million pounds plus add-on. Another factor in Arsenal's favor is Modric's desire to link up with Ukrainian teammate Oleksandr Zinchenko, the left-wing player moved to Emirates from Manchester City in July. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Why will Shakhtar lower their demand suddenly? Especially, this player has a good ceiling. He has shown that he could be the next big thing. There's nothing set in stone yet, but he has the potential to be a world-class player, even though he's not a world-class player yet. But why will Shakhtar do it suddenly, for me, lower their demands? I don't get it. You have to look at certain links and rumors with a bit of logic. You have to actually put your sentiments to the back burner and look at it. Why would Shakhtar lower their demands? It doesn't make sense for me. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Like, I'm not saying Arsenal might not still get Modric. I'm saying the article for me, the credibility is still in question. Maybe they can lower their demands to 70 million or 60, but dropping from 90 million pounds, which is 100 million euros, to 40 million pounds, which is 50 million euros. I'm sorry. I find it hard to believe. It's not impossible, but is it a probability? I don't think so. We can see from selling Fred to Man U and selling their Brazilian players in the last 10 years. Shakhtar do not just drop prices like that. They are very tough to negotiate with. They try to maximize their profit with these players. So as much as I will love Modric at Arsenal, a lot of you will love Modric at Arsenal. He will actually add something different to our squad. He will add some depth from off the bench, even as a starting player. He will do a lot of damage to the opposition defenders. And I want him. I like I've seen him. I think he will flourish at Arsenal, but the price and negotiating with Shakhtar in the next few months will be very, very intriguing to watch. So, guys, let me know. Do you think this deal will be done? Or do you think this article is credible? Do you think the Mirror is just putting one on one together, hopefully to make two? Because even reading through the article, I do not see anything substantial. Now, on the other side, from the player side, we all know the player is keen. The agent is keen. But there's the most important factor in this thing is doing the deal with the club. No matter how keen the player is, no matter how keen Arsenal is, no matter how keen uh, the agent is, if the selling club does not endorse it, does not permit it, there is nothing the player can do. There's nothing the Arsenal can do if we do not agree a financial deal that Shakhtar wants. Even though they lower the deal, if Shakhtar are not comfortable with the selling price, they will not sell it, regardless of Modric pushing in the press and saying and giving Arsenal fans this uncanny hope. Let me know. Are you still thinking he will make it? For me, it's a 50-50 chance. And I think he's not outside the realm of being, or it's not outside the realm of possibility. Arsenal can actually shelve that deal and go for another player. It's not impossible, because I don't think the Kroenkes, Edu, or Arteta will be strong into doing a deal that might not favor or which the club cannot afford financially. Regardless of people saying Arsenal might be stingy on, it's not about being stingy, it's about getting the best deal on both sides. Both the selling club and the purchasing club have to see a sensible deal for them to do it. It could be sensible to Shakhtar and might not be sensible to Arsenal. Arsenal might not do it. It might be sensible to Arsenal and Shakhtar find it not sensible and they don't do it, regardless of the optimism of the player, regardless of the fact that the agent will try his best to push it through. Both clubs have to agree. Let's see how this will end. It's looking interesting. It's looking peak. Let me know in the comment section. Are you very optimistic this deal will get done, or do you think Arsenal will move on that player? Let me know in the comment section. If you're not subscribed and you're watching this and you enjoy the content, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you turn the notification bell on. Very, very important. You do that, and do not forget to stick a like on the video. Very, very important. And I'll see you guys on the next content.